Welcome to Projects for All. My name's Mike, and today I'm all the way back here because we have a ton of Evolution stuff to check out. They sent down here for free all of these things for me to show you guys. This is a 2x20 volt or 40 volt sliding 10-inch compound miter saw. So we got the saw, we have a fine woodworking blade, we got a couple extra batteries, and a small shop vac that's cordless. They also sent down this massive miter saw stand. It's wheeled, it gets wide. We're gonna get all this stuff out, we'll check it all out, and then we're gonna see if it's any good. We'll check the measurements, we're gonna do some demos. Stick around. We've got a whole lot of stuff to look at in this video. I know it's a lot. Use the chapters. I'm gonna throw chapters down there. You can skip to anything, so you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to. Very nicely packed. Look at this packaging. Owner's manual, clearly our blade. Looks like a little quick start guide written right on the blade packaging. I like the cardboard packaging. I'm gonna tell you, I throw away an insane amount of styrofoam doing this channel. And it is unnerving how much waste there is. 2 batteries, very nice 5 amp hour. There's our clamp, nice looking shoe on that clamp. Dust bag, there's our knob for our table. Slider assembly, very nice. Throat plate, it's plastic. We're gonna cut through that obviously. We got a dust port. Dual charger, Rapide. These are super easy to put together. I'm gonna do that real quick and then we're gonna move on to the other stuff. We got some nice roller bearings in our head here. See the green dot? Remember that green dot in a second here. We're gonna install this in here. We're gonna unlock it so we can just slide this in. We're gonna wanna make sure these plastic pieces are pulled out on the ends. So we'll slide it on there and we'll tighten this so it doesn't move. Here's our head. We're just gonna push this on right here. That green dot, you wanna see all of that green dot in that hole right there. That's it. Make sure we don't push in those plastic clips on the end when we do this. There it is. Once you see the green dot through there, you have to tighten this Allen head screw on both sides and that locks the head down to the slide. We got a wing to install on either side. There's our wing, 2 holes. 2 bolts already installed. I'm gonna pull these out and that's gonna sit there just like that. We'll do the other side too. Included Allen key, but I'll show you on the Walkaround where that came from. The only other thing that came in the box, 0 clearance throat plate. I figured that was our throat plate, but it's not. It has a throat plate on it, so you get an extra so you can do a 0 clearance if you want. That is a nice touch, I like it. And if you want a shorter saw, you have the option of not installing these if you want. Lastly, we're gonna slide this up to 90 degrees and install our knob, which I'm assuming is just gonna screw right on in there. Yep. Slides nice and smooth. Let's get this off of here. We'll check out the vacuum next, and we'll put the stand together, and then we'll start cutting some stuff. Almost forgot about our batteries. 5 amp hour battery, 1.6 pounds, which is interesting. They put that right on the box. I don't think I've ever seen that on a battery box, but I haven't seen every battery. Pre-charged by me, of course. Rapid charge. There's your times for your amp hours. 1 hour to do our 5 amp hour batteries, and I would say that that was pretty accurate, even though I wasn't stopwatching it. Nice and basic. 2 times 21 volts output. UL listed. Very nice. Good quality. This looks like decent quality. All right, our vacuum is tool only. Ooh, it's time to sharpen this guy. The old AG Russell's getting a little dull. Nice and simple. Brush tool. Latch on either side. Nice and simple. Looks like we got a pre-filter if we want it. Stretches out to about 6 feet, because that's my arm span. Yep, that makes more sense. There we go, locks in. Comes off easy with the button. Very nice. What is this? Ah, there's our corner tool. That's what that is. Oh, that's blow. There's the front. Like that, maybe? There we go. Look at that. Very nice. Nice and compact. I like it. I like it more than I thought I would. Well thought out. 45 CFM, 20 volts. Cool. So last up, we got our stand. This thing extends to 10 foot 4 inches. It is, I'm assuming we're gonna find out, pretty heavy duty because it is not light. Our brackets for our saw, instruction manual. Got our rollers with stops. Heavy looking wheels. Brackets, everything's nicely packed. It's quite a bit of hardware for a saw stand. This thing looks mostly together. I don't know where most of this hardware is gonna go. I like that. Adjustable height. That's nice. And it looks like if you extend it to be higher, it's still gonna fold up because you got a little bit of wiggle room here. It'll just sit like that. We're gonna breeze right through this because this is not a hard thing here. Our handle goes on one end, obviously, the one end that has the holes for it. Axles are pretty simple. Flat spot on the end of there, you can just barely see it. The axle fits in this bracket and that flat spot grooves into this one. So once it's in there, it doesn't turn. 17 mil on these, both sides. So that's full tight and we're still spinning. Good. The longer threaded one is for the stand. The shorter threaded ones are for this bracket. There's a plate in here that's gonna press on your arm. That's gonna expand that little plate out here. There we go. Now we'll put it on our stand. Long threaded knob goes here. If you use the short ones, they bottom out and this won't lock. Whole thing's secure. We got our stop. So if we want to do repeated cuts, bump up against that, we can, or we can just let it fall down. Out of the box, your arms are adjusted all the way back here. And this thing's super short. So we'll pull it out. It's nice, they put a line on this inner arm here so you can see where that's gonna come out. Otherwise you're turning it trying to find the hole. I'm gonna stick them all in the middle and we'll see how high that is. So this thing is absolutely huge. One nice thing is it has a real skinny profile. So if you're gonna slide it in a van, although it's very big, it isn't gonna take up much space this way. It stands on its own, sort of. What it's really doing is just sitting on the knob, this knob on the other side there. I extended that all the way out. There's no feet. In the future, I would like to see these be extendable higher with a couple feet on that one. So with the saw attached to it, it'll stand on its own. But this freaking thing is 5 feet long, which obviously if you're gonna get that much extension out of these ends, the whole thing has to be pretty long. So nicely built, looks like a good stand. Squeezing latches here allows you to unfold it. The latches are just here. That'll be a good working height. Your tabletop will be here. For me, I think that's good. We might go one notch higher. Very nice. Holds 660 pounds, but I'd like to see it stand on its own. And I'd like, I suppose, an adjustable leg because the floors in here are not straight. 124 inches. That is absolutely ridiculously long. This thing's awesome. I can't wait to use it. The rest of this hardware here is just for attaching your saw to the stand. You got extensions for the top of this and 90s if you need them. I've never seen that before, but that's nice because this is universal. So we'll put the saw on it at the very end. I don't think you need to see that. If I have trouble with it or something weird's going on, then I'll show it to you. Otherwise, we'll just get the saw on it. Let's start at the top like we always do, and we'll work our way down. Here's our batteries. I'm gonna throw the batteries in here real quick before we put the blade on, because I just wanna show you the LED light underneath here. These batteries fit nice. They click in nice. Let's flip this up. If we pull our trigger, just a little bit, you can hear there's a micro switch in there that's actuating the LED that's inside here. Very nice. So you get a nice shadow line. You don't have to actuate your saw to do it. Pulling it all the way, starts your arbor. It has the same delay that the other saw has because it's got soft start. There's your LED back there. The blade guard is clear plastic. The armored bolt, reverse thread. So you get righty-loosey. There's your arbor bolt, arbor washer. There's your blade. 28 teeth. Okay for wood with nails in it. 2,500 RPM. 2mm kerf. And 1-inch arbor, which I know is not going to be a super popular thing here in the States. However, a little hard to show you, but it says 1 inch right there on the top. That is your 1-inch side. And voila, 5/8. This side, if you put it on like that, has no lip for the 1-inch blade, and you can put any blade you want on this thing. Diablo, DeWalt, Milwaukee, fancy woodworking stuff. There you go. So we're gonna put on the 1-inch side. Put our washer back on. Our arbor lock button's on the other side. I'll show you in a minute with the Walkaround. We'll get that on there nice and tight. These blades cut steel, aluminum, wood, plastic. Wood with nails in it, no problem. R255 made in Japan. It's pretty quiet. I mean, freewheeling, it's pretty quiet. We'll take these back out of here for now. Jesus. That one went crashing and you can't even see it, so. There's no overmold on these batteries, but they're a little bit durable for sure because this one just went skipping across the floor. Here on the upper left and in the back, we got a few things going on. You have this lever here. You get half a turn, locks your slide, turn it back, nice and smooth. There's a couple controls here. So you have this lever in the back, flips down, and now this will space out your saw head from the back of the slide here, and you can lock this. The point of this is if you don't want to slide, and you're just going to use this as a stationary chop saw, the spacer here will get your blade out from the fence the proper amount. So you get the most amount of distance cut without the slide. If you took that lever and lifted it, put your saw head all the way back and then locked it down, too much of your saw is behind the fence and you're only getting, you know, so much cut there. You have your depth stop. You flip this lever down and now your depth stop, which is adjustable. There's a thumb wheel here that's a jam nut essentially, and you can stop your saw from plunging at whatever depth you would like. You can set that, override it, and you're at full depth right there. Little picture under your motor housing shows you which way your blade's supposed to spin. I mean, you should know which way your blade's supposed to spin, but if you need help, it's right there for you. Not a ton to look at on the right side. You have a better look at your slide lock lever. Half turn, locks the slide. Half turn back, and you're sliding. This releases your saw head. Pull it out, it's released. Push it back in, it's locked. And then you have your arbor lock button right here. Nice metal button. That brings us to our tabletop, and then we'll check out our bevel controls. So 50 degrees, either direction. Adjustable pointer. Nice stainless steel scale. The detents on this, I'll show you in a second, lock up tight. Hold the button down, nice and smooth. Release the button, and it'll lock into a detent. It locks up very tight. No play, no nothing. Knob prevents it from turning. This ambidextrous lockout here. So there's one on this side too. If I turn this, it locks your button down. And now you're free to put your saw bevel anywhere you want. Pressing the button, snaps it back, and we're already locked into 0 or 90 degrees. Here on the back, a couple things going on. Got a grommet for our Allen key, locks in here, 2 sizes. This knob locks your fence. When you bevel your saw, you have to slide your fence away from the center, so this allows you to do that. Locks down secure. This lever slash knob here unlocks our bevel, so we can bevel our saw. Not so easy to do from this angle. To lock it down, turn it, but if it's in a bad position, you can pull it out and rotate it and lock it in a better position so it's not being obstructed by whatever's back here, like this table. That's an improvement over the old design, not bad. Also back here, screws to unlock our bevel and adjust our bevel. Last but not least, we got our bevel control. If I move my fence, like I told you, you should, maybe this bevel all the way. I have the lever in the back unscrewed, and we're able to bevel all the way to 45. If I pull out this plunger, it'll allow me to go to about 47. If I pull it back a little bit, it pops in and stops at 45. If I take this, take the pressure off of it, and put it so it's all the way in. See that little part there is now in that notch? Now, you see it stops at 33.9, 22.5, and it'll stop at 0. If I move it away from the camera a little bit so I have room. There we go. Stopped at 0. That works, by the way, no matter which way you bevel it. You can go either direction. It's the same control. So is the blade 90 degrees from the fence? And is it 90 degrees all the way out? It contacts this the same way on the slide, forward and back. So how much deflection do you get? If I push the saw head back and forth, maybe a millimeter total. That's about it. That's with me pushing fairly hard. That's about half my strength pushing on the head. How flat is the table? Well, short answer, it's about 1/8 thou off. This rotating part is about 8 thousandths higher than the side wings here. It is 1/8 thou here, but it tightens up at the end on that side. This side is 1/8 thou all the way across. It is not 10. If you put 10 in there, it does not work. 1/8 thou, there you go. How straight is the fence back here? Would you believe? 2 thou. I can get 2 thou in there, but not there. That was the right side, this is the left. 2 thou right there. And that's it. 2 thou just in that little spot right there. Can't beat that. All right, we knocked it over on the 45 degree. 0. $45 exactly. Let's override the stop and put it back on, and there's 0. Yep, 4/10 off. I bet you if I push it a little bit, yeah, look at that. It's got that much play. Perfect, 90, but I can push it over about 1/3 of a degree play in that mechanism. Not terrible. Few last little tidbits before we start cutting. The 4 and the 5 are the same size, although this is 1/10 of a pound lighter. Here's what the charger sounds like. Here's the second blade they sent. Made in Japan, fine wood, 60 tooth. We'll check that out too. It's the first time we've seen one of these on the channel. 2 flavors of clamp with this one. Both clamps have this new style shoe, which I like. Fits right there. Just pop it in. It's got quick motion, and obviously you can dial it in. Got a long rod on this one, so you're gonna get a lot of adjustment out of this. It could probably hold almost anything you could put in there. Very nice. It fits on the other side in the exact same way. And we have our traditional clamp. This one fits in the back. Pull the wing off so we can see what we're doing. This clamp fits here, one on either side. Because that knurling that's on there, I'll bet you would just stay in there, but you can tighten it down. Quick movement with the button, and that same new style shoe on this one. Here's our dust hose adapter. You get 2 7/16 on the outside and about 2 1/4 on the inside. 2 5/16. So it fits in, but it's loose, which I assume is intentional. It'll give you a break point. So if you're sliding your saw and your hose gets bound up, this will just pop out rather than you messing up your cut, or worse, pulling it, binding, doing bad stuff. So there you are. Putting this on the stand, we're gonna mount these to the saw. This is pretty simple stuff. Evolution gives you 4 different sizes of carriage bolts to mount this. You also get a variety of washers. We're gonna pull the little rubber feet off of here. There's obviously 4 of them. So we're gonna put a carriage bolt, a small washer, and a nut on this. So now I have this hand tight, or at least all the way tight. Still moves, so it can be adjusted. So if I take the saw off of this, these bolts aren't flying all over the place. Do not confuse these with the slightly bigger washers. I'm gonna use those for the top. I'm gonna grab the carriage bolt from the underside, and then I can just look from the top. I can line this up. We can hold it. Big washer, nut. You could probably use a little bit longer bolts on here and go get some nylon nuts would be probably what I would do if this were gonna be my permanent setup. But for now, we're just installing this so we can use it. We'll tighten this down. Actually, we're gonna put it on the stand and we'll figure out front to back where we want it, probably just in the center there, and we'll get it mounted. So I went to top off all these batteries. Why? I've owned this saw for 6 months and never used it. All 4 of the batteries were charged by me 6 months ago. They've been sitting out here in the toolbox in the cold all winter, and none of them, all 4, none of them need to be topped off. I'm pretty impressed with that, actually. All right, so I gotta go way back to get this whole thing in the frame. Let's start with some 2x12x8, no problem with this stand. It's the first cut. Got our multi-material blade. It's a nice piece of red oak. We're gonna cut this, then we're gonna cut a whole bunch of metal, and then we're gonna cut this again and see how clean the cut is. Not bad. Backside too. We'll remember this cut. 2-inch steel tube. That's about 1/8 thick, I believe. We're gonna lock our slide for this. Should probably use the clamps, but let's just give it a go. This is 2 1/4 tube. It's a 1/4 inch thick. It's aluminum. These clamps literally take just a few seconds to install. So I should install them where I can cut. It's hot because it's been out in the sun. It's not hot because I cut it. 3/4 inch copper. We only need 1 clamp for that. No problem. Very nice cut. About 1/8 inch aluminum on top of 1/8 inch steel plate. All right, let's compare this old cut before we cut all the metal to the one we make right now. Cut off before and after cutting that metal. No real effect, in my opinion. We've never tried out one of Evolution's fine woodworking blades. Not that I can remember, but we're gonna find out if it's any good right now. All right, first cut, Evolution fine woodworking blade, 60 teeth. Very nice. 45 fine woodworking blade. What do you guys think? I really like it. I'm telling you, I like it. The corded version of this was excellent. This is just as good, if not better, and it's cordless. Deflection was at a minimum, slides smooth, tons of power, nicely built. Everything feels and looks like good quality with this. The vacuum attached to it does almost nothing, but that's exactly what I expected because I've never ever had a miter saw without any kind of hood on it attached to even my giant dust collector. It does very minimal dust collection. So it's what I expected, and it is what it is. The vacuum works great. It doesn't work great for this application, but I used it to clean up the saw with all the metal chips and stuff, and it's a great little vacuum. I'm gonna keep it. We'll use it around here. No complaints. I like how everything stows. The stand is huge. It is, like I said earlier in the video, I wish it was self-standing with the saw on it. You could just leave the saw on it. I have the corded version mounted to a Frontier stand that I bought off probably Amazon years ago, and that one stands on its own, and you can just leave it over there ready to go. Roll it out, kick the legs out, and you're cutting. This, I mean, no big deal, but you have to store them separate, and in here where space is at a premium, I would prefer they were just always together. Otherwise, you can put any blade you want on this. The fine woodworking blade is excellent. I'm impressed. The real star of the show, of course, is these multi-material blades. They cut everything. I didn't show you PVC, but they cut that perfect. They last a good time. We've done many evolution saws now with this blade, and it is yet to disappoint me. So this is a 1-inch arbor, so you can't use it on another saw, but you can use it on all evolution stuff. And then you can grab your DeWalt blade or whatever your favorite blade is and throw it on here and use that too. So this, to me, is the biggest advantage to these saws. I appreciate you watching. Hit me up in the comments. Hit like, possibly subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I thank you very much. And we get to do more tool reviews. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.